Good evening, everybody. Good evening. So I do want to warn that the very first part of this is exactly what happened. It's kind of graphic, but I think that with our special guest coming on, I want to set the stage of what happened. In 2013, Typhoon Haiyan, known in the Philippines as Super Typhoon Yolanda, was one of the most powerful tropical cyclones ever recorded. Upon making landfall, Haiyan devastated portions of Southeast Asia, particularly in the Philippines. It was one of the deadliest Philippine typhoons on record. On record, it killed at least 6,300 people in that country alone. In terms of the JTWC estimated 1 minute sustained winds, Haiyan is tied with the Marathi in 2016 for being the second strongest landfalling tropical cyclone on record, only behind Goni of 2020. As of January 2014, bodies were still being found. Haiyan was the most intense cyclone worldwide in 2013. It hit in Ormic in November 3rd, 2013, and it finally calmed down November 11th, 2013. The highest winds recorded was 145 miles an hour and 195 miles an hour. 10 minutes it sustained 145 miles an hour. 1 minute it sustained 195 miles an hour. So there was over 6,352 people confirmed dead. There was over 1,771 people missing. It cost the Philippines $2.98 billion dollars. It was the costliest in history of the Philippines. It affected not only the Philippines, but it also affected Guam, the Carolina Islands, Philippines, the South China, Vietnam, and Taiwan. We're going to watch this video, and I have a very special guest tonight that I'm going to be interviewing and asking some questions about what their day was like when it hit. So I hope that you enjoy the show. And not only that, I hope that you can learn something from these real life events that occurred in the Philippines. I think that with what happened, I think that each one of us living in the prepared lifestyle, prepping in the real world, should listen very closely as this special guest talks tonight. Thank you for being here, and let's watch this video real quick. It's about 3 minutes long, just to set the stage of what happened that day.
The immensity of the storm could be seen from space. But only on the ground could Typhoon Haiyan's true horror be captured.
I've been through a lot of typhoons before. I've been through a lot of natural disasters before, and this just does not, it is incomparable. This is just off the scale.
The Philippine city of Tacloban, home to more than 200,000 people, was hardest hit by winds gusting at more than 300 kilometers an hour.
Underfoot, it is now just a deluge. And if you look behind me, I don't know if you can see it, the staircase behind me is now basically a waterfall.
As residents prayed, the storm surge engulfed buildings. A CNN crew helping in the rescue of a family stranded by the rising waters.
I can feel electricity in the water, guys. My legs are tingling.
This monster storm, it is so big, it's affecting 2/3 of the country. And President Benigno Aquino has warned his citizens that they are facing a calamity.
The devastation is it's I don't have the words for it. It's really horrific.
There are fears that the death toll could soar to 10,000.
Some of our family members are dead, so it's really devastating.
I am the only survivor of the family, and I want to know them if they are still alive.
3 days on since the storm itself, there are still bodies by the side of the road.
The slow recovery effort only added to the trauma, grief turning to anger.
Get international help to come here now, not tomorrow, now. This is really, really like bad, worse than hell.
And everywhere CNN reporters went in the days after the storm, the plea was the same.
Food, tents, everything. Everything's gone. So we need help.
I hope you're watching and you see us in TV. We really need help.
So it was really a devastating. It was a devastating cyclone, super typhoon, and I did drop the link if you'd like to come on up. I want to say this. In the wake of Typhoon Haiyan, the Philippines received numerous messages of condolence and offers of assistance from a range of international leaders. The Philippine citizens gather around a U.S. Navy MH-60S Seahawk helicopter assigned to the Helicopter Sea Combat Squadron HSC 12 as it delivered relief supplies November 17th, 2013. Around the world, people reached out. In America, the United States stepped to the plate to help. And I'm very proud of the United States that we did help, that we got in there and we helped these people because of what happened. It was very, very devastating. As you can see by the video clip here next to me, um, I think the biggest thing was that this super typhoon, they were not expecting it. It was the worst, but they were not expecting what occurred. And the thing is you can see it. That is a picture of it from the aerial view of it, which was whoo. It basically covered the whole islands of the Philippines. The USNS Mercy ship from the United States, from the Americas, went in to aid them. Along with that, the U.S. Marine Corps was on the ground delivering disaster relief, food, water, and supplies. And at this time, I'd like to bring up our special guest. Um, she will be talking about what happened, and I hope that you enjoy this. It took me a lot to get her to come and do it because it is one of those things that puts you in shell shock. Here's some pictures of the Philippines and what occurred. And at this time, I really would like to welcome the one, the only Skippington to the show to discuss what occurred that day. And I appreciate you very much, Skippington, for being here. I don't see you. There you are. Hello. Thank you for coming
Hi,
on.
good morning.
Thank you for coming on. I know that we discussed this, and it makes you a little nervous to talk about it. It takes you back to 2013 when it occurred. Uh, Thank you very much, and I'm sure that all of us will learn something from the things that you say. Skippington, do you remember the morning or the night when it hit, where you were, and what occurred that day? Just in your own words.
I remember that day that I just woke up in the morning because that happens 7 a.m. in the morning.
Uh,
7 a.m. in the morning in the Philippines.
Not a good way to wake up. Did you know that the typhoon was coming into Ormic?
Yeah, we know the time. We are already prepared, but the house is not we know that that is typhoon signal intensity number 4. So that is scary. We know that this is scary, so we prepare. But even if you are prepared, but when that time come, it's like the end of the world.
Yeah. And you told me that you were at your father's house, and you
Yeah.
at that time, that's like what, 13 years ago. So your children were little.
Um, that was I forgot 1991. That was 1991. So 24 years ago.
Yeah, the first
24
one.
or 23. The first one. The first one is 1991. 91. Yeah.
Yeah, and then this one was 2013. Yolanda was
Yeah.
2013. What did it
13.
what did you hear? Like what did it sound like? I mean, you were in a stable home. You did make it and your family made it, but you could hear it. Like what did it sound like? Did you just hear like massive rain, winds? What did you hear? Or destruction?
Massive rain and wind. It's like that.
Just Just
And
loud,
then,
loud.
yeah, and then when you open the door will push you back inside.
Wow. One thing that I thought was interesting when we were talking about this is after it hit, how long did you go there in Ormic with no water, no food, no electricity? Well, no electricity and no water. How long did you go?
There is a water, but water in everywhere. We drink water even though it's dirty or no. We want to survive, and the electricity it takes 8 months before fixed. 8 months. But I only stay 2 weeks here because our brother is so worried and he rescued the family, bring to Manila because the foods and the water is not good anymore. But that
So
2 weeks, but that 2 weeks is really hard. Foods and everything, clothes, because all is in the mud.
ruined. Everything's ruined. So
Yeah.
you told me that you walked somewhere. I think you walked to a hospital.
Y- And we walk, we find, that is the second typhoon that we walk, we find a place that is the higher place. So, because the water is here, that is the second typhoon. The first one is, we are in the roof of a church just to survive. In the
Wow.
roof of the church, yeah.
So
That
you've been in
is,
you've been in some devastating super
yeah, four
typhoons.
times.
4 times?
4 times happens. Since
Wow.
1991, yeah.
Wow.
Yolanda is 1991.
No,
Ah,
Yolanda was the 2013. The
okay.
2003. So that's the one that wiped out your house.
Yeah.
Yolanda wiped out your house. So on her property, the only thing that stood after Yolanda was the cinder blocks. That was it. The roof, the walls, everything gone. All of her belongings gone. You basically lost everything in that one. But was your house full? Yeah, your house was full, but you weren't there, right? You were gone in that.
Yeah.
You were gone in that one. Silver Girl, thank you for telling me about Mama Leem. Thank you very much for telling me. Could you send me an email, please, at offthewallprepper@gmail.com? Everyone, please lift up Mama Leem. Her heart stopped during 2 stents and she's on a ventilator, double valve replacement Thursday. Thank you for telling us. Thank you for telling us. We'll be lifting her up in prayers and thoughts. Silver Girl, please go and just stand beside her and tell her that I'm thinking about her and I'll be lifting her up in prayer. If you could shoot me an email, though, I'd appreciate it very much. Uh, I hate to hear this about Mama Leem. She's been on my channel forever, Skip and Tin, probably since it started. She's since it started. Um, I think that do you remember when you were walking along the streets, like were you just like in total shock? Were you like crying? Were you scared to death? Were you just was there? I mean, I can't imagine what you felt like. I can't imagine.
Um, we are walking in the street, the water is here. And then I am with my 2 sons. We don't know where we go. And I don't know, I didn't cry. No. I feel like I'm strong that time. But the after the whole day, I was crying because all is ruined, broken. So how can I survive? That is my question. How we will survive? How can we build a house again?
Yeah, and here you are back in Ormic, building
Yeah.
building again. And I don't know if you all have if somebody could drop Skippington's channel, or Skippington, if you could drop your channel, she is a very strong woman, y'all. And I watched her climb up the ladder to get papayas. I've watched her actually help mix concrete, and she's doing a lot of the work herself. Other than Jack devastating your flowers, you've done a lot of work. You've done a lot of work on your property, but she's very hardworking, and I think this time you're really determined to make it a solid home. And I think
Yeah.
I think the thing is that even in when we're preparing for stuff, just like Skippington is talking about, folks, we can prepare as much as possible, but when everything is wiped out, you're depending on people around you. I'm sure the Philippines was depending on humanitarian aid a lot when that happened, because what else would they do? I mean, there's a video out and it shows several bodies in the street, which I'm sure was just like devastating to see something like that. But then people were drinking the water, because there wasn't any clean water, or they couldn't prove that it was clean water. One thing you told me is that your papa's house, he had a well. So you
Yeah.
so you drank the water from the well. How did you get
Yeah.
how did you get the water up to drink it? Old fashioned with a rope and a
Yeah.
bucket.
Yeah. The rope with the bucket, and all the people neighbors are there, getting the our well
Water.
water. Yeah, the neighbors are rescued of the well water of Papa. A lot of people fall in line every day for the drink and for the wash for clothes, because all our clothes is in the water.
So, and how, okay, your papa's house made it through several hurricanes, cyclones, super typhoons, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
They're all basically the same category. But what about people around your papa's house? How was their houses?
Their house, even they build like steel, but their house is gone. More on the roofs.
Okay, so many of the neighbors' houses were just smashed. History.
Yeah, but the Papa house no.
Did your father's house have a lot of damage to the outside of the house or to the roof?
Only the kitchen, the only the dirty kitchen, but the whole house is still standing.
Yeah.
And neighbors are wondering how that happens miracle to the Papa's house. And just Papa smiling. They're asking how Papa built that house miracle.
Wow. Because
Yeah,
so many around him in Ormic were gone. So his house was very strong. But he also didn't he build that house himself too? Did,
yeah.
yeah, he did. Okay. And how old is the house? I mean, did you live there when you were a little kid?
No, because I grew up in grandma, far
Oh, okay.
away from where I am right now. So I live in that house like only 1 year. Then I go to Manila. I don't live to my parents like many years now. I grew
Okay.
up in my grandma.
Grandma raised you right.
Yeah,
Strict probably. Grandma probably raised you strict.
yeah.
Yeah.
Conservative grandma.
So is there
But
anything that you would like to tell people on the channel, like maybe like was there anything that you grabbed that you held on to during all this? Was there anything really important, or was it just survival? Did you not worry about nothing?
I'm worried. It's because I'm single mama. How can I build again my house? So worry. I'm worried.
Yeah. During
Yeah.
when you were in the water and your two sons were holding you up, where did you end up going? Like after that, that wasn't during Yolanda. I think that was during a different one. But like, where did you all swim to? Where did you swim to?
Um, Somewhere in Romox City we swim because we will find a food, a store. but all stores are closed and gone. So it's like we are walking in the water that we don't know where we are going, but we are hungry because that is breakfast time. So we are hungry. So we are cooking that time. We are cooking, but the food is all gone because of the wind. So heavy wind. So we can find the kitchen's unit utensils. We can find it where. Oh my God, I don't know.
Wow.
I can't remember.
So did you actually get to eat that day? Did you find somewhere open that was able to, or somebody that helped you, or
Um, I think that the whole day I don't eat. I don't. I can. I have a store that time. Did you remember I showed you the? I have a store in Papa House. All the food that is inside the house, I give to the people because they don't have food. I give, and
wow,
then yeah, all the food like eggs, like noodles, sardines, all the in cans, I distribute to the people outside that they don't have food. And then the night before some people from the government give us food.
wow. So,
Yeah,
so thank God for humanitarian aid because otherwise people really wouldn't been able to make it. I know a lot of
yeah,
countries. Yeah, I know a lot of countries came to aid the Philippines, especially during Yolanda. But
yeah.
you said the electricity during Yolanda was down for 8 months.
Months, 8 months, 8 months.
So that means no running water and no electricity. So
Yeah, because yeah, no running water. It's because the what do you call that one? The water pipe
the water pump.
is broke,
Wow.
ruined. Yeah.
I really appreciate you coming on and talking about this. I know that it's not probably an easy topic to talk about, but I think that in prepping, and I'm really trying to get to people with real life prepping, not do this, do that, like really what it's like to live through a situation like that. How has it affected you being in 4 super typhoons? How has it affected you now in your life? Like, how do you react, or are you really worried when a storm happens? Like, how do you feel when a storm happens that's really bad?
You need to be prepared yourself that it happens. That is nature. We don't know when it happens. So you should prepare yourself. That's it.
Mentally, mentally and spiritually is
Yeah.
probably the biggest thing that
Yeah.
probably scares people. Well, I want to say that big prepper hugs and thank you very, very much for coming on here. I thought 36 hours with power was bad. 10, it is worse. 6 months. Wow. 8 months, Georgie. 8 months,
I
George.
and I
I bet you get up every morning though and thank God that you were able to make it through like these bad super typhoons. And I know that in the Pacific, it's one of those things. It's just like in Florida with the hurricanes that you really can't prepare a lot except if it happens to get to higher ground. I mean, that's the only thing you can do. I think the scary part to me, honestly, skipping 10, is the electricity in the water, the lines down in the water. You can probably hear it. You can probably, I mean, it's very dangerous if you have to maneuver through the water with power lines down in the water. Oh, it's all right, George. It's okay, Georgie. It's okay, Georgie. Does anybody want to ask any questions of Skipping 10 about super typhoons or any kind of question about what she went through? If you do, put it in all capitals so she could answer it. I just want to say thank you because I'm glad that you talked about it. I think that your story and telling people really what it's like, real world prepping, these real weather catastrophes, they happen all over the world all the time, right? But the thing is like we can prep materialistic things like food and water and first aid kits and stuff. But when a weather catastrophe like that happens, you have nothing. You have nothing. And what I heard from your story is what you all did have in the Philippines is depending on each other and giving from your heart to help others. And that's like huge. That's huge. I want to say thank you very much. I'm going to keep this short tonight. And big prepper hugs, Skippington. Thank you very much for being here. Drop your channel link because you have some really good videos and some great live streams. So make sure you drop your channel link when you go back down to the chat. Okay. All
Thank
right.
you. You're welcome.
Can I get a big prepper hug from you or just a Kim Skippington hug? thank, thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Good luck then. Thank you, George. George,
Thank,
thank you.
thank you, Skippington.
You're welcome.
You want to sing?
You want me to sing? George, you want me to sing?
George, do you want to hear her sing one song? Is your soundboard? Oh, go ahead, sing one song for us. I mean, why not? You're already up here. I'll be
Talk
quiet.
to George first because I'm gonna find song. I don't know how to what song I
Whatever,
talk
whatever,
to George
whatever
first
song.
because I'm gonna find song. I don't know how to, whatever. Sorry I made it man, sorry. George, it's okay. Don't worry.
Don't worry,
I'm s-
George. George said whatever she wants. I like that, Georgie. Possum head George. That's right. Whatever she wants, let her sing whatever she wants.
Oh no. George, whatever she wants. George is your diehard supportive.
Yeah, George is really a friend. He's really a friend.
Yeah, he's really a friend. Yeah. I like.
I'm not gonna say I like George. No, I like George Mitchell. George Possumhead Mitchell. I like him. We like to give each other a hard time, Tim. That's all. He's given me shit on this channel since the very beginning of this channel. For 3.5 years, I've dealt with him giving me a hard time. All right, now she's gonna sing something. What you gonna sing?
I don't have power. Are you bugging me? Are you bugging me, KJ? You forget I'll get everything. Oh my God. It's like I don't have power to sing. It's like, get up, get up.
One song, one song. Here we go.
Okay, only one song. Okay. Mine. When you love somebody, it's only end of time. When you love somebody, always on my mind. Well, thank you of the wall.
You skipping 10 even though you hit your face. You sing beautiful. I don't know how I think you're just shy because it's my channel and we're not on your channel, but it's okay. It's okay. We know you're not really shy, but you can pretend to be.
Yeah, I'm not really shy, but sometimes I hide.
I know. I want to say thank you very much from the bottom of my heart for coming up and talking about your story about the super uh typhoon. And I know that you definitely have to build a strong house, but not only that, you have to have a lot of faith to get through the things that you've been through.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, big huge prepper hugs. I'll see you after a bit.
Okay,
All right, hug you, squeeze you. Thank you.
you're
You want me to
welcome.
you want me to kick you out, or do you know how to kick yourself out?
Kick me out,
Okay, no, I don't.
please.
I don't want to. I don't want to kick you out. That's mean. Okay, I will. All right. Okay. Bye. Thank you very much.
Well,
See So I think I really appreciate her coming on. I know that that's probably a hard topic, honestly, for anybody to talk about is being caught in a natural, terrible disaster like that, right? I mean, hello, Cherokee Rose prepping. When it comes to real life prepping, and we're talking about super typhoons. That's scary. That is definitely scary. I think that the thing is that that's one thing that I've always said on this channel and the original Off the Wall Prepper is that we can buy food, we can buy rice, we can buy beans, we can buy all these things, but buying the things and having a major weather catastrophe hit you, you're going to be left with nothing. Nothing that you can grab and be like, okay, I'm going to save this. So I think the biggest thing is to really, really be spiritually centered and mentally centered so that you can go on through a bad situation like this. I remember when we had the hurricane down in Florida, and you all might remember this. I got kind of upset with a couple of our channel subs because they didn't want to leave, right? Hello, Allie. And I think that each one of us, has to make decisions. If we have the availability to leave, I would leave, right? Thank you, Silver Girl. Thank you. I'll reach back out to you after the show. Thank you very much. We're lifting her up in prayer. I think that the thing is, folks, we really have to mentally prepare ourselves. Mental preparedness and spiritual preparedness is going to be real world things, right? Because you can go buy the rice, you can go buy the ammo, you can go buy all those things, but someone can take those things from you. Hello, Brandy. Hello, Brandy F. And I hope that after listening to Skippington's story about what she's been through, you know, it's very I don't know. I think if I seen the things that she's seen and heard the things that she heard. One thing that we were going to bring up and I forgot to ask her the question is that when they were walking, it took them a long, long time from what she told me because the bridges were knocked out. And we've talked about that before. If the bridges are gone, how do you get from place to place? Well, she's also talking about she was up to her neck in water. So that's like 5 foot, almost 5 foot of water with electrical lines down. And you got to imagine, just like during Katrina, what else is occurring under the water? You got debris, you have death, you have death of animals, you have boards, wood, all these things floating. And so it is a very dangerous situation also when you're walking like that, trying to get from point A to point B to save your ass, right? So I think, folks, the biggest prep that we can do in the real world is to get spiritually centered and to pray and thank God when you live through a catastrophe like that and that you're able to go on. This new series, Prepping in the Real World, is going to have different special guests come on. We're going to be talking about all different kinds of real world prepping. I want to bring up a second part to this tonight. Uh, as we all know, here in the United States, the crime rate is off the charts, absolutely off the charts. Okay. And so I want to talk about something that just recently occurred. And if y'all would make sure you smash the thumbs, I would appreciate it. You can smash them up or down. I don't give a shit. Just smash the thumb. Okay. Thank you. Anyway, so there was a situation. We were talking about this the other night about the crime situation in the United States on prepping in the real world. So there was a situation, and it's been occurring more and more with these young thugs, these young gangs running amok in the United States. This man and woman were in Chicago. They were walking home after a nice evening, a nice dinner, and an outing at a ballet or it was some kind of play. And a group of these young thugs came up on him. And for no reason, they separated the man and the woman. There was about 10 to 13 of these young people. If you want to call them that, you can call them young monsters. You can call them self entitled little assholes. So they started beating the woman to a pulp. They also pulled her hair. They also pepper sprayed her, right? The point of this tonight in Prepping in the Real World is that at any time, anywhere, we can all become a victim of a crime. That's why it's so important that we're always on point, that we're always alert, that we always pay attention to our surroundings, that if you're solo, that you don't go out, as we spoke about last night, and you're wandering in places you don't or not familiar with. I think one of the biggest things I took from this article is these kids were so ruthless. They felt like they were entitled to do whatever they wanted to this couple. And this couple was not old. They were like in their mid 40s, early 50s. They actually held the husband back while they beat the hell out of the wife just so they could see his reaction. This is the reality of America. This is prepping in the real world. This is prepping in the real United States and around the world. Is that these little thugs have no caring about anybody or anything. A lot of them are just doing it just because. In Chicago, we know that they're doing it because they've basically tied law enforcement's hands. Law enforcement doesn't mean shit in Chicago as well as on the West Coast. You can do what you want. You can go into a store and rob it, and they're just going to slap you on the wrist. Workers that stand up for what's right or what's wrong, they get fired. Workers that try to take it into their own hands to stop this theft, they get fired or they get beat up. Prepping in the real world is a lot different than prepping on YouTube. See, I'm not going to tell you anymore to go buy gear because for the last 60 days, I've been looking around saying, whoa, shit, what do I really need? And what I really need is health, spiritually centering, as I've always talked about on this channel, and to stay spiritually centered and to get healthier day by day by day. Change your diet. Look at foods that are better for you. Quit drinking all that soda and all that coffee. Change your liquids into water, things that are nutritional for you. Drink a little bit of Tang. The most important thing that we can do to prep is to get centered and focused on the good things and learn the skills. Because prepping in the real world is going to come down to survival. Just as Skippington was saying tonight, she didn't care about the shit around her. She cared about other people, she cared about her kids, and she was in survival mode. She didn't cry, she didn't whimper, and she wasn't a puff puff marshmallow ass because there was no time for it. See, prepping in the real world, when it's in your face, you have one of two options: to curl up in a ball and cry like a baby, or to put your fucking boots on the ground and do something. I hope each and every one of you keeps on doing the dang thing because here at this channel, we're not watchers, we're doers. God bless each and every one of you from here in the Ozarks. Keep prepping in the real world and pay attention to what you're doing day in and day out. I don't want you to be a victim of a crime. God bless y'all. Let's take it on out the OTWP way. One last song. Keep on doing it and don't give up.